Fantastic. Okay, God bless. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day and schedule to join us for what promises to be an enlightening and transformational session. My name is Dr. Israel Spaulding, and I'm both honored and excited to host this special Zoom meeting gathering uh, focused on one of the most groundbreaking advancements in regenerative wellness, the LifeWave X39 stem cell patch. Today, we're not only going to explore cutting edge science and technology and real life health breakthroughs, but we're also graced with the presence of a true pioneer in the industry. It's with great pleasure that I introduce our distinguished guest, Verdita Monk. Verdita Monk, Executive Presidential Director with Lifeway. Ms. Monk is a dynamic leader, seasoned entrepreneur, and one of the most influential voices in the LifeWave global community. She's helped thousands unlock new levels of health, vitality, and financial independence through the LifeWave technology, especially the revolutionary X39 stem cell patch. Her journey, insights, and vision have inspired countless lives, and today she's here to do just that for each one of us. So I encourage you to silence distractions, grab a pen, notepad, and prepare your hearts and your minds. What you hear today may very well change your life or the life of someone you love. So let's give a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Ms. Verdita Monk.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much, Dr. Israel, for putting this call together. And I'm pretty sure the people that you've invited definitely understand your passion for health. And the fact that you are, making sure you spread the word is phenomenal. And I know if they trust you, they know that you would not bring something to them that was definitely not as powerful as the way you've described it. You've heard Dr. Israel mentioned a couple of times about X39. That's what he's referring to, this little patch right here. So what I'm going to do before I get started into the presentation, let me just tell you a little bit how my husband and I got involved with this, because, it's not like we're doctors or anything like this. We're just normal people, just like you. And we were introduced to this by a friend of ours who was very emphatic for us to meet him so that he can let us try this patch. And but also what he also did was what Dr. Spaulding is doing right now. He asked us to join a call that he had put together with some of his friends and colleagues so that someone could explain it. In this case, he was explaining to us what it was about. And he also invited some people that had used this patch, and they had such tremendous results, but we didn't necessarily think it applied to us because we considered ourselves pretty healthy. I'm, never had to really take medication or never in pain that I can remember. So we didn't really think we had a need for it. And little did we know we were perfect people to use this patch. And you will find as we go along, this patch is for everybody, but it's very important. So what happened with us was my husband, that night we decided to put the patch on. And that night we slept all night, slept so sound, and didn't even know until the next morning, that we slept really sound. And the reason all of that is so significant is because my husband was a chronic snorer. He had a chronic disorder. Between the choking, the coughing, the snoring. He had acid reflux, and the snoring. It was terrible. And this went on for about 10 years, almost, I would say every night, because I could never sleep. So that night, my husband, all of that was, you could hear a pin drop. No snoring, no choking, no coughing. I used to beat on his back because like when he would wake up and be choking, I thought he was going to choke himself to death, literally. And so none of that. And so this has been 2.5 years now. And because where he has not even snored at all. And so because of that experience, we realize this patch is not just for people who are sick, not just for people, have all these different ailments or in pain. It's for everybody, because you're really going to be surprised at some of the things you're going to hear today. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get into a presentation, And Dr. Spaulding, you can stop your video and I'll just go straight on into the presentation. Thank you so much. So everybody, listen, we're talking about this, it's a technology that we're talking about. It's about the size of a quarter, as you can see next to my face, and it's thin like a Band-Aid. So it works like a Band-Aid, and it's called the X39. This is the what we're referring to when we sing a humongous breakthrough in the health industry. And how this all came about is doctors have really been doing billions and billions of, and scientists have done billions of dollars in stem cell research for years. They're still doing it. And one thing they've not been able to do is this. Say, for example, you know, many doctors are referring their patients to stem cell injections where they take a needle and they inject some stem cells. They're from an embryo or umbilical cord. They will do that. And what happens when they do that, it may work, but if it's localized. So if it goes into your knee, but yet you have a rotator cuff issue, it's not going to help the rotator cuff. It only works in the area, it's localized, only helps the area that the injection goes in. They're very, very expensive, ranging from $5,000 to maybe $25,000 per injection, depending on the kind it is. It is not covered by insurance, so therefore it's not accessible, you know, price-wise to the average person. But why do doctors do this? This is because they don't have any other options. They run out of options, so they say, well, maybe you should get an injection. And then 30% of the time, they don't even work. So we have a better option, you guys. It's the best option, and you know, I'll explain as we go along. So listen, what's going to happen when you put this patch on your body, it's going to elevate copper peptides in your body, which are very, very important. And then when that happens, what I consider just the most phenomenal thing in the world is those stem cells that have been in your body for years, just sitting there dormant, are going to be reactivated and your whole body is going to be regenerated. Let me explain it a little bit more. See, by the time we get to be about age 30, you start noticing things happening because half of our stem cells go dormant. So that's when you start getting tired, you know, maybe high blood pressure, some of those kinds of things people start noticing when they get in their 30s. But by the time we're 60, about 90% of the stem cells go dormant. And therefore, the mechanisms that are already in our body that help us heal ourselves, which are the stem cells, when they're dormant, there's nothing that, you know, to help you fight off the issues and diseases that you're getting. So because the stem cell is the body's intended repair system. So the fewer stem cells you have, the slower you're going to heal. It's going to take you longer to get better, whatever your situation is. And the more you're going to feel the signs of aging, you guys. So we want to make sure that you understand we're not intending to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. We're simply saying that when you put this patch on, it is going to reboot your body. It's going to elevate those copper peptides and in turn reactivate those stem cells. So how does it work? It's very, very simple. I don't know if you're familiar with a term called phototherapy. This is a proprietary form of phototherapy. Here's an example of phototherapy. When you go out into the sun elevates the vitamin D, right? That's already in your body. It's not vitamin D floating around in the air and then it goes into your body. It's already there. It just needs to be elevated. That's phototherapy. They give phototherapy to babies when they have jaundice. They put them in the infrared light. So do you see what phototherapy is? So this is a proprietary form of phototherapy, first of all. It's a patented nanocrystal technology. See, in the middle of this patch, you can't even see there are crystals made out of sugars and amino acids formulated in an FDA registered lab. And so what happens is when you put the patch on, nothing penetrates into your body. As you can see, non-transdermal, nothing goes into your body. All that's happening is when you put the patch on, the heat of your body. See, you already have you don't need the sun because you already have heat and light, right? So when you put the patch on your body anywhere, the light of your body is going to reflect off those crystals, just like a chandelier. You put the light on the chandelier, it starts sparkling. When you put the patch on, the light of your body reflects off of these crystals. When that happens, it elevates the copper peptides in your body, which in turn reactivate the dormant stem cells. It is a very sophisticated thing, what I'm referring to. And it's, but it's maybe kind of hard for people to understand, but there's no drugs or chemicals in it. This is what makes it so appealing, is because there's no drugs or chemicals. Doctors love this because they don't want to, put something else in somebody's body. They've already prescribed some type of, drug. And because there's no drugs in it, therefore, it is not FDA approved. It is not a drug. FDA approves drugs. So it's FDA registered as far as FDA has a goes to our laboratories and they register it, but it is not approved because it's not a drug. But it is non-invasive, so it doesn't interfere with anything else that you may be doing, okay? Again, with that disclaimer about us not intending to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. This is very interesting. I hope you feel how interesting this is beginning to be. But it's going to get more and more interesting because I want to introduce you to the brilliant scientist who is the inventor of this patch. He's the CEO of our company, which is called LifeWave, and he's the inventor of the X39. The gentleman has over 200 patents now. He started his career, just to show you how, over 20 years ago, he was already known. That the federal government commissioned him to develop something for the Navy SEALs. They were about to embark upon another project where they were going to be underground for 36 hours at a time, and they needed to be energized with something natural. So he developed his first patch or technology called the Energy Enhancer Patch. It was so successful and it traveled all over the country from doctor to doctor, ended up at Stanford University, where they used this on the Olympics, the women's Olympic swim team that year. And what's so significant about that is, elite athletes are not allowed to wear or use anything that is going to be a performance enhancing drug. So that just lets you know the credibility of this patch is it's nothing that is considered performing enhancing, because nothing's going into your body. It's your own body doing rebooting. So it's really interesting how this all started, but he started specializing in age reversing. Like I said, it's a very hot topic. And in 2008, he started focusing his attention on stem cell research. And it took him 10 years to do what all these doctors and scientists have been researching on. They've been trying to come up with a way for the body to reactivate its own stem cells, but they could not do it. But he did. It took him 10 years and $4.5 million to bring it to market. So this is a patented technology. There is a patent on this. So meaning that no one except for LifeWave, David Schmidt has the patent. No one can market this except for his company. And we are part of his company, and I'll explain that a little more. So let me tell you what it says in the patent. It says, this is a wearable phototherapy apparatus that produces beneficial effects to the human body, such as activation of stem cells, improvement in strength, improvement in stamina, pain relief via a non-transdermal container. The non-transdermal apparatus reflects or emits specific wavelengths of light to elevate levels of the copper peptide GHKCU in the body. So it tells you right here, it's going to reactivate stem cells, okay? You cannot say that in a patent if it's not true, and you cannot say that if it didn't happen, because those case studies are what proved that this patch works, okay? So it's proven. Now, many, many benefits. There's just too numerous to talk about on this call, but here's a few that most people are experiencing with this patch. Increased strength, reduce inflammation. That's all through the body. Anytime you got any pain or illness or disease, there's some inflammation nearby. Energy and vitality, increased stamina. Mental clarity is very common amongst people that are aging. And so that mental clarity is something that people are experiencing, improving since they've been wearing this patch. Restored muscle and skeletal system conditions. Do you know, as we get older, our bones may become brittle, less dense. And you notice older people, as they age, they start looking like they're shrinking. That's because their skeletal system is depleting. And so it's going to restore those conditions, you guys. That is amazing. Improving the sleep. Not only, you heard me tell you what happened to my husband and I mean, we having sweet dreams, right, all the time now. And I'm telling you, most people will experience a big difference in their sleep, as well as, you know, just dreaming. A lot of people said they've never dreamt before, and they started dreaming because of this patch. It's just a very interesting patch, technology, you guys. Improve skin appearance. That's gonna, you know, I'm going to show you some visuals, some pictures in a moment of a couple of people who have conditions in their skin that you will see right away the difference. Now, here's something called a topography map, or a brain scan, where they took a 77-year-old woman, placed the X39 on the back of her neck. And so this is one of the case studies. Well, what they did was looked at her brain, and the brain in the area, you see all this orange red area, this reflects inflammation. And there was lack of brain coherence. 3 weeks later, they looked at it again, and all the inflammation had gone just by wearing this X39. 6 weeks later, total 6 weeks altogether, there was a complete turnaround, better brain coherence. And when she came in there, her brain was hyperactive, but it calmed down after 6 weeks. So this page right here is just a reflection of what happened in those case studies. Now, you can write this down. I appreciate if you taking notes, because if you write this website down, thisisinfo.com, you'll get all kind of great information about this patch. You'll even see the case studies, you'll see the patent, you will see all kinds of testimonies of different things. You will see hear from physicians and why they are recommending it for their patients. Even though it's not a drug, physicians love this. So let me tell you what they noticed when they started wearing this patch. Well, people's in the case studies were wearing this patch. Just in a few days, over 4,000 genes begin to reset. Within 6 weeks, their brain becomes balanced. I just gave you that example about the ladies whose brain was hyperactive, and after 6 weeks, it calmed down. But do you know anyone who has PTSD? Do you know anyone that is autistic or has dementia? What about autism? There are children that we are seeing. I mean, all of these things I'm noticing. I'm talking about my personal experience, just people I know that have all this. That stuff has gone away, and in sometimes a day. There's a lady that you're going to get a chance to meet on the call, where I would say this on her behalf just to show you what I mean. She gave one of her friends whose daughter was autistic, she gave her, you know, some of these patches to try. Now, this little girl was autistic. I think she was 3 years old. And all this little girl did was walked around in circles every day. She never sat down. And so the next morning, her mother put this patch on her and she went to school. And the teacher said that the little girl sat down in her chair. And she, you know, she just couldn't believe it. So she took a picture of her. She also went to the potty. That's something she didn't ever do. They always had to change her diaper because she wouldn't go to the potty. This is interesting. That's just one example. I could go on and on, but who sees this type of thing happening? Only with this patch, okay? Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. You know, collagen is very important because it holds our bones together, our tissues together. It's like if you were a house, and the mortar that holds the bricks together, that's what the collagen does for your body. It holds it together, makes your skin supple, helps your hair and nails grow. It's just very important. Now, within 6 weeks, the heart reverses in age. You know, that part right there is very important and very impressive. So what they mean by this is they say that every 6 months that you wear the patch, your heart reverses by 8 years. Now, I'll tell you this, I'll try to make this quick. A friend of mine who had a stroke, they had to put him on a defibrillator and a pacemaker because he was diabetic. That's what caused a stroke. But all the time for about 4 years after this pacemaker, he was still having have 5 insulin shots per day. So when his friend brought some of these patches to his house and he started wearing them, within the first day, he noticed his numbers were not high enough for him to be getting a an insulin injection. And so within 3 days, he didn't even need any more insulin. His body didn't require it. And so he was having to see his cardiologist every 6 weeks. That's how bad off he was. And so this time when he went in 6 weeks later to the cardiologist came out and said, Mr. Payton, what are you doing? And he says, what do you mean? He says, well, your heart is no longer relying on the pacemaker. There's no record of it relying on your pacemaker. You got to be, he says, all I'm doing is wearing this patch. So the doctor did his research. And of course, you know, I mean, not that a doctor recommended a patch to him, but he put in his, you know, whatever his regimen or whatever, that he is wearing the X39 every day. That the doctor wrote this down, but he also called the manufacturer of the pacemakers to say that maybe his pacemaker was something wrong with it or something, or defective. You know, he couldn't just let it go like that. And they said, when they tested, they said, there's nothing wrong with the pacemaker. It's operating fine. It's just that it's not activating. He doesn't need it. Nothing wrong with it. So that's what we mean when we say the heart reverses in age. Those stem cells in his heart woke up and started healing his heart. You see what we were saying? And so this is why we tell people, this is not like something that may happen just like that. In many cases, we call them one patch wonders when that happens, like with my husband. But doesn't mean it's going to happen with everybody. You got to give your body a chance for those stem cells to, you know, they've been there all this time. They're dormant. Let your body have time to accept this and to do what it needs to do. So that every 6 months that you wear the patch, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, everything in your body is going to become brand new. Okay. So it's not anti-aging according to David Schmidt. It's age reversing, you guys. We're going to get younger and younger. Now, how do you wear this patch? Very simple. You see 2 locations in a diagram behind the neck and below the belly button. And that was only because in the case studies, they needed to be consistent. Group A wore below the belly button, group B behind the neck. So everybody was doing the same. But all you got to do, you can literally wear it anywhere, okay, on your body. You just want to wear it 12 hours a day and 12 hours off. So if you started at 8 in the morning, and then you take the patch off at 8 at night, throw that away. Why do you throw it away? Because you're going to get 30 of them, 30 patches in this beautiful packaging right here. 30. So you throw this away and the next day you put on a new one. Okay. And then all you have to do though is drink plenty of water. That's all you have to do. Drink plenty of water and wear the past 12 hours. So this is very, very simple. Nothing special you have to do. Now, this part right here is where you're going to really get excited because, you know, as I was telling you, you're going to hear some testimonies that will be much more easy to understand than all this technical stuff that I'm saying. So first of all, I want to share with you, I told you a visual of a gentleman who had a condition called vitiligo. There is no cure for the vitiligo. But after 1 year wearing this patch, look at this gentleman. He is just completely gone. Hey, look at this lady. We just started talking about the collagen. Look how these lines started smoothing out around her mouth and then all around her eyes. She really looks about 20 years younger, if you ask me. And this is after 3 years of wearing the patch. No other. Look at the neck. All the wrinkles in her neck are gone. Okay. So what I want to do at this time, I want to bring, first of all, Gwen Millsap. Gwen Millsap happens to be the person that shared this with Dr. Spaulding. They've known each other for years. And I want her to come on and share what happened with her and why it motivated her to share this with other people like we're doing with you. And I want to turn it over to Ms. Gwen Sapp out of North Carolina.
Hey, Verdita.
Hi,
Hey, Dr. Israel. I'm excited. Every time I get to share my testimony, I get excited all over again because it reminds me of what I did have that I don't have now. But it was back in December of 23 when we were introduced to the X39. I had been suffering 48 years with sciatic nerve damage from the birth of my last child. And when I tell you I was suffering, I couldn't bend, I couldn't sit, I had trouble, and I was in pain. Couldn't sleep on my back, couldn't walk, couldn't do my exercise like I wanted to. But I started masking it with ibuprofen. So we went to see a boot camp. We was having a boot camp at our church. Dr. Emma came in, which is our pastor's sister, and she gave us the patches. There was 30 people that lined up to get this patch on them after she talked about it for a few minutes. So I got my patch on my back. Within 5 minutes, my sciatic nerve damage was gone. It was not hurting. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is not real. This is not how your mind play tricks on you. But it was real. I could move, I could bend, I could do anything, twist, everything. But I had been doing this for 48 years. And in that process, I was taking ibuprofen, not knowing that it was damaging my kidneys. So in the process, my kidneys were working only at 28%. I went back to my doctor. It was about 11 months later. My doctor told me that my kidneys are now at 55%. Now, while I got excited about myself, I got even more. I got ecstatic for my husband, okay? My husband is diagnosed as a diabetic. He was suffering with neuropathy in his right foot. He had not been able to drive from April to December of 23 before all this happened. He was dragging his right foot. He was on a cane, couldn't wear a shoe, couldn't go to church, couldn't back and forth to the doctor. And I drove him everywhere. So that Saturday when we got patched, I came home and I said to him, he noticed something different about me. He said, well, what did you all do at church today? And that's what I showed him. I said, Angela got her patches. I didn't get any, but she's going to bring one. And I want to know if you'll let me put it on your back. And he said, well, what is he going to do? I said, it's for everything. Because I'm just now seeing the patch. I didn't really know everything about it, except that it worked on about 20 of us in church that had all kind of issues. And I put the patch right back here on his neck. Now, mind you, he had neuropathy in his foot. I said, okay, I'll be back in about 18 minutes to check on you. Just sit here. We're going to see how it's going to work. So I called him. I said, babe, how's your patch working? Well, I didn't get an answer. I said, babe. So at this time, he ain't answered me. I'm moving toward this den to see what this patch has done to my husband. When I got in the den, he was gone. I come back and looked out the window and his truck was gone. He was gone for over 20 minutes. And when he came back, he left his cane in the truck. He came in the house and I said, well, what happened? What did the patch do? He said, I had to go drive down to the pond. We have a pond out back. He said, I had to go down to the pond and get out and walk, just walk around and give God glory that I was pain free, that neuropathy was gone out of my foot. Not only did it heal his foot, it healed his back where he had surgery over 14 years ago. And then he had as we went along, he was getting treatments for peripheral artery disease. All of this stuff comes along with diabetes. And they did his vein surgery, went in and cleaned his veins and stuff. And they were having to do this ever so often. And so the next year, which was last year, he went back and his veins are clear. The doctor says, it doesn't look like we're going to be doing this procedure on you again. Your veins, your arteries, everything are working normal. Your body is functioning like it's supposed to be. His neuropathy was gone. His PAD was gone. And the first night he wore the patch, he stopped snoring. And I know God did that for me. So we noticed all of this stuff. We went to get our eyes checked this year. The doctor told us we didn't need any updated prescription. Our eyes were getting better, so we didn't have to change our prescription. I mean, every time you turn around, there's something that you're going to notice from this patch. It's it's just, you won't notice it right away because all of us are different, but we were what you call one patch wonders. Everybody, it doesn't happen like that. But to know that my kidneys and my eyesight and my husband's neuropathy in my back. I mean, I could go on, but you don't have time for all of that. All I can tell you is X39 has made a change in our home. That's why I got involved with this business. I asked the lady before she left, could I get in the business? And she said, you want to do this? I said, do you see how many people lined up? 30 people lined up and got the patches. 25 of them signed up for these patches to get started on. So Verdita, I'm excited. We're still experiencing things every day. So thank you.
That's
appreciate it.
phenomenal. Everything you said, Gwen, and Gwen said so many things that hopefully you can relate to some of those or know somebody. And, as you're, taking notes, if you think of anybody that has Parkinson's or has heart disease or has, dementia, any of those things, just write their names down because we got to help some people. That's the reason we're here. Just to help some people, relieve them of issues that for some reason the doctor has not been able to help to do anything about it. And see, this is why Dr. Spaulding is here, because that's what he does. He's trying to help people, okay? And I think he found a very, very viable option to supplement what he's already been doing. So yes, we're so excited. Now, I remember that site that I told you about, this is at info.com. When you go there, you're going to get an opportunity to look at the patents and testimonials and things like that. If you click on testimonials, you'll see, you'll see neuropathy, you'll see, heart, you'll see bladder improvement, stroke, joint improvement, everything you can think of. As this is not the only location that we have testimonies, but chemotherapy. We have so many people that have, one lady up in DC had pancreatic cancer, and she had been doing chemo from January to August. She started wearing the patch in August. She continued to do the chemo, but by November, there was no more signs of cancer in her body. This is what we're talking about, you guys. We're not talking about something that's ordinary, okay? So listen, we just got through explaining to you about the health freedom that you might experience, that you're going to experience with this technology. But let's talk about financial freedom, because, we got people who have, especially coming up now, AI is about to take over. Many people are not going to even have jobs. We don't want people not to be able to provide a living for their family. So guess what? As you're talking to people, what you are going to do, you're going to tell people about this. Once you start getting your results yourself or hearing what we are telling you, you're not going to keep this a secret from your family. When those people, when you decide to share this with them, the company will compensate you. And that's important, because you'll see it's just something that if you share with other people, the company is going to reward you. And then you're going to experience time freedom. And many people are doing very well with their career, but they don't have time for their family. And so this opportunity, what I'm about to share with you now, can allow you the time freedom that you may need. So this company is a global business opportunity. So keep in mind, everybody that uses a patch is not doing what we do. I'm get committed my life. I feel like this is a calling for me. Matter of fact, I know it is a calling to help some people. That's the only thing we're trying to do. And therefore, but some people just want to be a customer. They just want to use the patch. Dr. Spaulding, recommends things for people, but they may recommend someone to him, but they're not saying they want to be a doctor. They're just saying, I want to help my sister or my mother or somebody, and they're telling them about him. Okay. In this situation, you're going to probably tell some people, but this time they have to purchase they have to purchase this from Lifeway. Okay. They got to purchase from Lifeway, but Lifeway is going to say, well, who referred you? And then when they say, oh, my sister referred me, they're going to say, okay, let's drop a check. Well, it's not going to be a check. It's going to be a deposit into your account. Let's reward your sister for sharing it with you. See, no one purchases this from me. No one purchases this from Gwen or a doctor. They purchase it from LifeWave, okay? Now, LifeWave, let me tell you about LifeWave. LifeWave is in over 75 countries because we're growing so fast, because people are telling people they know all over the world. And the company is experiencing exponential growth. It was doing about 20 million a year up until 2021. It's about, the company's 21 years old now. But all those years, it was doing about 20 million a year, only because only doctors were knowing about it and they were telling their patients about it, whatever. But in 2022, when our team, This Is It team is the name of our team, came on board, the company jumped up to 320 million because we were growing so fast. Then the next year jumped up to 430 million. And last year we exceeded $600 million. And this year is going to be a $1 billion company. I mean, it's projected to be a $1 billion company. So how is this growth possible? You know, hopefully you've realized by now, this is not a Me Too product. Like, yeah, this one company got some for weight loss. Well, me too. I got weight loss too. Well, this other company got something for your skin or your hair. Well, we got that too. No, this is not a Me Too product. This is a unique product that can only be purchased through LifeWave. And that's why it screams opportunity, you guys. So as far as being compensated, I'm going to share with you how the company compensates you when you refer this to other people. But it also, we want you to know that there's no guarantee on your success. Your success, you know, baby, if you have big goals, you know, to be able to make some serious money with this company, it's all going to be based on your skills and your personal effort, but you will be compensated. Now, when you say that I want to try some of these myself, what's going to be required is for you to know what kind of package you can get. You can also, it's going to also require your name, your address, your date of birth, email address, basic stuff like that. And how are you going to pay for it? So let me tell you, if you just wanted to be a customer, you can do that as well. You're going to pay $99 for one sleeve if you are a customer that says, I want to use this every month. You still get it at wholesale. And that's the wholesale price, and you're doing it every month. And the company is going to give you some little sample every month as well if you're using it every month. But if you just said, let me just try it one time, I just want to be a one-time customer, you're going to pay $150. So you're going to pay about $50 more when you, if you just want to be a customer like that. But if you want to really believe in what we're saying, you don't want to just give this for yourself. You want to not only use this consistently for at least, I would say several years, 2 or 3 years, to be honest with you, but at least 6 months, at least, because they say that for every decade that you're alive, you want to wear the patch a month. So if you're 60, then one sleeve will be equivalent to 1 decade. So the first package I want to tell you about, and if you're married, you don't want to be using it and your spouse not use it. See, my husband and I both use this. So the core pack is $295. It's going to give you 3 sleeves. You're going to get $300 worth of sleeves. And, you know, that's good. What that will do is allow you and your spouse to use it, maybe share some with someone else. The advanced package for someone that knows for a fact, I want to make some money. I got people I need to try these patches. So give you enough of these sleeves, because as you share with someone and they say, well, I want to get a package too. Well, their package may take 3 to 5 days to ship to them. And so they may say, well, can I get something now? You can loan them. That's what I do. I just loan a 30-day supply to one of my new brand partners. And now they can reimburse me when theirs come in. So for $535, you'll get 6 sleeves, $600 worth, but you're only paying $535. That lets you know you're saving $65 when you get this package. Okay. But this is also, we sample these out. We give these to people, like maybe 3 for someone to try it out and see how that works for them. The premium pack is for the serious entrepreneur. You see, when my husband and I saw what that patch did for us, and then we started hearing those type of testimonies like you heard from Gwen, listen, we said we need to get as many as we can, because and Gwen did the same thing. We just wanted all our friends to know about this. And that's the only reason we got that package, so we can give it out to as many people as possible. But we did save money by doing this. We got $2,000 worth of product for $1,750. So that saved us $250. And so in other words, we were just paying $87.50 a sleeve. Now, another benefit of getting the large package is this. When you say you want to earn money in the company, the only requirement is that you must be active. If you're active, that simply means you're getting the patches every month. Like you could get one of these per month, that's $100, or you can get as many as you want. So if you get this package right here called the premium package, you won't have to you won't have to purchase anything for the next 90 days. So that's a benefit right there. If you get the one sleeve, it's going to keep you active and it's going to allow you to earn money. Whereas if it up to $100 per week, okay? But if you really would like to see more income, if you get 2 sleeves a month, and if you're married, you need 2 anyway, right? Because you need one for yourself, one for your spouse. If you're not married, you still need 2, one for yourself and one to let people, continue to sample out to other people. So when you do that, you get the 2 sleeves, you're going to maximize the compensation plan. All right. So let me tell you those ways that we do get paid. Remember, I told you if they're a retail customer, you earn $50. If they're a preferred customer, meaning they get this subscription every month, you're going to get $20. Okay. Now, the thing about these packages, they also come with points. So if someone wanted to get this core package, you get $35, but the company also gives you 150 points. I mean, 180 points. That's very significant, and I'll explain in a moment. That's advanced package. The company will pay you $75. If you shared this with somebody and they said, let me get the advanced pack, you make $75 and you get 300 points. The premium package will pay out $405 and 745 points. Okay. Now let's talk about what's going to happen with those points. Remember, I was telling you that if you stay active, you can earn money. Well, the person, you can earn from $100 per week all the way to $25,000 per week in the binary compensation plan that I'm about to share with you now. So this is the binary. The binary simply that you're building 2 teams. Let's say if this is you and you told your mom and your uncle about it, and they each said, I want to start using this every month. And they sign up, get one of those packages. You may put them on the left side of your binary. And there's a way to do that in your back office because you're going to get a website. The people on your right, the people that you add over there, it could be a co-worker or some colleague or something. So now that's the way the binary works. And not only are you putting people in here, say, for example, if in Dr. Israel, he referred somebody and he's going to be referring a whole lot of people. If this is you here, he'll bring his people and they'll fall on your left all the way under this last person or on your right. In other words, you're going to start earning money on people you don't even know, people that he's brought on board, or even Gwen, who brought him in. You're going to start seeing that spill over. And that's what we call, you're going to get paid on all those people. Now, this is where you can earn up to $25,000 per week in this structure. It's going to start blowing up. Okay. Then when you get 4 people on your team and they get one of those packages that I told you about, you get promoted to the first rank that I was talking about, which is manager. The reason you want to get to manager is because that's where you start getting matching bonuses. People that you've enrolled, you get 25% on what they earn. If somebody makes $1,000 this week, you get 25% or $250. So if you enrolled me and I'm on your first level, I make 1,000, you make 250. I've obviously shared this with other people because I wouldn't be earning this money, right? So those people will follow your second level and you'll get 20% of what they earn. And then those people in your second level will refer people, they will earn money in the binary. And when they earn money, you get 20% on what they earn. So it's good, it's not hard to understand. We will go over that with you. I just want you to know that there are different ways that you're going to get paid. And that's very detailed on a website called thisisitteam.com. There are videos, explanations, drawings, everything to show you how you can get paid. Now, there's another site you can go to called digitalalliance101.com. Some of those testimonies I was telling you about are there, and just more information. Now, these envelopes and cards right here, we use these when we mail somebody some patches, or if I keep these in my purse. So if I run into somebody, I'll put some of the patches in the envelope, but explains the benefits. It also has that website, thisisittinfo.com, explains, how to wear the patch. So it's a very professional way to share this with other people. Now, this page right here, if you were to go to Digital Alliance, you would get all the calls. We do calls like this every day, but they're more of a public kind of call. This is a private call we're doing for Dr. Israel, but every day you can jump on one of these calls anytime you want. And the schedule is on digitalalliance101.com, and if you go down to the bottom of the page and click on stay plugged in, you will be getting a text message an hour before all of these calls. Okay, digitalalliance101.com right here, and then go to the bottom of that page, the home page, and click on stay plugged in, so you'll be notified the next time, every time calls are coming out. So listen, you guys, it's now time for you to make your move. Just decide, how you would like to benefit from the patches. If you said, well, I just want to try one sleeve, let Dr. Israel know that. Or if you want to be a preferred customer, you want to use it every month and also get some free patches, little samples every month as well. But if you want to earn money, let him know that as well. Let him know I want a package, and you can decide if it's the core, the advanced, or the premium package. We'll help you if you're trying to figure that out based on what you plan to do. If you said, I really, really want to make money, I highly recommend either the advanced pack or the premium, because you need extra as you're sharing it with people. I was at a surprise birthday party last night, and one of the people there that happened to know, what have you been doing? And, I hadn't seen this person in 2 or 3 years. And I said, well, my husband and I are working together with this stem cell technology company. That's going to raise their eyebrows, right? And so what is that? And, start telling them. Next thing you know, based on what I told her, she goes and tells another person. Before you know it, I guess it was probably about 40 people at this house. And next thing you know, people coming to me. I'm wearing the patch. I'm wearing. It was so funny, but that's how, because they're so excited. They were just telling the testimonies that I had told them, because it was too much to go into, like that. But they remember stories. So let them know what you want to do, and we can't we can't help. I mean, we can't wait to see what this patch is going to do for you and your family. So let him know. Please don't delay. Text him and say, Dr. Spaulding, we got to talk right away. All right. So with that being the case, thank you all so much for joining the call today. And Dr. Spaulding, would you like to come on and say anything else before we end the call? And I know you've had some tremendous results as well.
Yes, yes, I would like to just give a personal testimony of myself. When I was introduced to the patch, I was extremely amazed, because in my course studies, I had come across light wave technology and light wave therapy. And of course, it involved the big bulky machines and the doctor's office visits and so on and so forth. And I thought, well, but then when I was introduced to this by Gwen, she explained to me how it worked and so on and so forth. And I was truly, truly amazed. So I said, I'm going to take a look at this. So she sent me some patches, and I got started on the patches. And one of the first things that I noticed was my eyesight began to improve. On the dashboard of the car, we have a digital clock. The numbers are really tiny. And normally when I look at them without my glasses, the numbers are fuzzy. But then I noticed that the numbers were sharp and crisp. And I got excited about that. And I thought, wow, well, what else is going on here? I noticed my breathing was getting clearer. My mental faculties were sharper. As a matter of fact, I was sort of running behind on my schoolwork. After I began using the patch, I accomplished more schoolwork in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks than I had in 6 months. Now that was totally amazing. Okay, let me tell you, that was totally amazing. So as I said, my mind was sharper. Just all sorts of things were going on. And what people have to understand is things sometimes happen subtly. Okay, they're happening and you're not even aware of it. Like your system is being built up, and for example, your hair grows. But you're not aware of it growing. You see it after it's grown. You notice it. Your fingernails, the same thing. Okay, so my energy and stamina increased dramatically. just for example, several days ago, I had a uh, wrestling situation. Um, and this thing went on. Now, I'm in my 70s. Okay. So this thing went on for about 20, 25, 30 minutes. The guy I'm wrestling with is probably 28 years old. After this wrestling match, I was not tired. Okay. My stamina was sustained throughout the whole thing. I was not breathing hard or anything like that. And I'm telling you, that was amazing. And I'm also telling you, it had something to do with the patch. Okay. It, of course, had something to do with God. But nevertheless, I'm seeing tremendous results from using the patch. And the others who are using the patch are also having tremendous and seeing tremendous results. One of my students who is also signed up in the program, uh, Sister June, Sister June Green. Now, she had a daughter that was having some complications seasonally, and she began to use the patch, and things turned around for her. And so, you know, her whole family's excited about this, and it's just an amazing, amazing product, and we're truly excited about it.
Well, Dr. Israel, really quickly, how long have you been wearing the patch?
About 2 weeks.
See, 2 weeks, and you had all these things have happened.
2 weeks.
Can you
Yes.
just imagine what's
Yes.
oh my God.
Well, I'm
I get
excited.
excited all
Yes.
over and
Yes.
over and over again every single day. And when you said God is in it, I mean, there's something to do with God. It is. Trust me,
Yes.
you will find out that God is in this patch, because there's no
Absolutely.
way one little bitty tiny thing like this can do all the things that this patch does. Our founder is a devout Christian. So if somebody on this call is not a Christian, I don't mean to offend you, but God inspired him with what he did with this patch.
Yes. Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Okay. From the scriptures, the Bible talks about in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth and so on and so forth. Then it explains and describes the condition of the earth. Tahu, Bahu, without form, empty, void, all of these things, a mass of swirling gases. It was a total mess. And God said, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to heal it. Let there be light. And light began the healing process of the entire universe. Now that's
right.
amazing, okay? And
Right.
so God has given this doctor, Dr. David Smith, the understanding and the technology and the ability to put this thing together in something as tiny and simple and yet complex as this little patch. Now that's amazing, as I said, especially when you consider all the big bulky machines that they had to use prior to the patch. Okay, so yes.
You will see one of those doctors, Dr. Stillman. If you go to that site, thisisit.info.com, there is a video there. I think there's 3 videos. He's one of those doctors that was using all these expensive machines. You need to hear
Yes.
what he is saying about copper peptides. And I'm saying this to your audience.
Yes.
You're going to be blown away the more you know. I just touched the surface. You got to do your own due diligence. Don't be Googling all over the internet. Go straight to this event. They've already done the research for you. The patents are there. So thank you, Dr. Spaulding, for joining, partnering with us and just catching the vision, because, you know, sometimes people don't take the time to understand it. And we appreciate your excellence in leadership and in what you do for everyone. And thank you so much. And we will have this call. This call is recorded. We'll get that recording, because I know you got a relative that you wish they had been on this call. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.